there's all these things. If you look at every conflict we have or have had in the last 20 something years, there's this cycle where there's agency involvement that ultimately leads to.
I always cite, it's a different context, but you'll understand what I mean. I always cite, for example, like the CCP. They have total iron fist control over their people. Anyone who says something wrong disappears. Doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or a poor person. It's horrible. But like, they can make sure that our kids here, using democracy where people are free to make a choice, they can make sure that our kids are sitting up watching titty videos all night.
Yeah.
But over there, they turn off TikTok at 9 p.m. And before that, it's only science and math videos. So their kids are all smart.
Right.
And it's like, when you have an open system like democracy, which is the best system, totally agree. Unfortunately, what we have to be conscious of as a society is that from a government geopolitical level to decisions that are made outside the borders, all the way to things that culturally happen inside our borders, there are ways that other places who don't care and don't have a stake in that system being successful can use it to take advantage of it. And, it sounds like that's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree with you because, and it is, I think that the U.S., there are things we cede, advantages those other type of regimes have over us. But it is precisely that change, that refocus, that independence, I think that makes us more adaptable, more resilient. I think the three of us, for example, if we were going to be on a mission together, team up to go do some op, if all three of us were identical Garys, we would not have the best chance of succeeding. But the three of us with our three diverse backgrounds and different experiences and different personalities coming together now, and especially if you're talking about a lot of things I did where you're dropped into chaos and you're told to figure it out and make a way, we together, because of that difference and all, then we could be successful. If you take a bunch of guys that are, all one way,
Yes.
that's it ain't gonna work.
You got to have the yin and the yang and the wang and the
right. And they're not flexible. They can't adapt.
Getting these edits in to keep up with 2 podcasts a week is still running right up against the last 24 hours every single time. So when I need to run to the office the day before an episode comes out and I haven't had a chance to have my full lunch, a Huel Black Edition is going to keep me going. It keeps me satisfied and has me on my game. So shout out to our friends at Huel, who are today's sponsor. Huel is spelled Huel, and their Black Edition is a complete meal, so you feel full, focused, and ready for your day. Huel requires just a little prep and you can grab and go. They've already sold over 500 million meals around the world, and now it's your turn to try it. New customers are going to get 15% off today at Huel.com when you use my code Julian, Julian. Link is in description below. Huel is a perfectly balanced meal designed by experts to provide all the nutrients your body needs from a meal. They take the guesswork and time out of healthy eating. And it also tastes really good. It's literally like a milkshake, and it comes in delicious chocolate or vanilla. Bonus is it's also low sugar. Lastly, and arguably most importantly, Huel is incredibly affordable. With high-protein meals at less than $3, it's a budget-friendly option that you should be excited about. So start saving time and money without compromising your nutrition today with this exclusive offer for new customers of 15% off using my exclusive code Julian at Huel.com, Huel.com. Once again, that's 15% off for new customers using my exclusive code Julian at Huel.com, link in description below. Please see our description for the terms and conditions. Skip the stress, not the nutrition. Try Huel today for complete nutrition.
I don't know if we ever answered questions about Khost.
We didn't. You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to see if you were okay coming back to that.
Yeah, we can talk about
Okay,
Khost.
so you, as you've already laid out, you're there initially building it. Certain things are building up over time. And then I guess fast forward, you've been in Afghanistan obviously most of this time, but we get to 2009 before what happens. There's some people have seen Zero Dark 30, but Joby Warwick's also been on the podcast a bunch. He wrote a book about this and everything, but there was a spy in Jordan, El-Beloui, who they believed, I guess Matthews at CIA believed was going to be coming and working for CIA, but he turned out to
Yeah.
be a double agent. And at least the story, the part that we know, is that he ended up blowing up the base.
So
where were you in all this?
So, isn't it odd that earlier we've talked about times where I brought in bad guys and worried about that same thing, right?
Yeah.
And here we have the case where that is what happened. So by this time, I did my thing in the Army in Afghanistan on agency teams 2001 and 2. When I left Afghanistan, as the longest term person in Afghanistan up to that time, I was brought back to the States. And then by that time, the agency had asked for me by name to be assigned to them to do prep for the Iraq War. So, people knew that we were ultimately going to be at war with Iraq. We're talking.
What did you think of that?
2002. Come on. What? There's another war? I've just been in this one for 5 months. I've been seeing action for 5 months. Now you need me to go in the Middle East and go do more.
Sign me up.
I'm in. And so there were. Let me pause just for a second to think through the classification of some of this. So the agency knew it had to prepare in case there was a war with Iraq. And, there's all these things. If you look at every conflict we have or have had in the last 20-something years, there's this cycle where there's agency involvement that ultimately leads to special ops involvement, which ultimately leads to bigger military involvement when we get in these things, right? So they were in that phase. And there had been a program where they had worked with local cops in a neighboring country and trying to do some stuff, bringing people in and out of Iraq. We're talking 2001, 2 timeframe. When they were these were untrained cops.
Yeah.
They were carrying 38 revolvers in their dish dasha, and they got set up, and a couple of them got smoked.
Ugh.
So then they said, okay, we need somebody that understands tactics, come out here and run this part. So by that time, and then there had been another project I had done in that country for the Army where the agency got to know me. And so ultimately I was asked for by name to come out and run this or handle the tactical portion of this, getting people in and out of Iraq. And so I did that. And then when the war started, so 2002 to 4, I was full-time as a soldier, working for the agency. And I was in and out of Iraq. And then 2004, went back, retired from the Army, joined the agency.
Immediately.
Yeah. Left Fort Campbell on a Friday, reported at Langley on Monday.
Did you have to go to the farm?
When the agency was telling me I could join the agency, I had had other training in my military career that introduced me to agent handling stuff and some of that stuff. So when I was doing this loan to the agency, they said, have you had any of this? I said, yeah, I did my thing. We do it a little bit different, but I did that. And we'll see how you can do. Let's go to this diplomatic function with me and let's see how that works. So I went to a diplomatic function and they said, okay. And they started letting me do some, lower level, some of their case work. I ultimately did recruit somebody during that time. and ran somebody. But it's funny because I thought, okay, I'm going to go now. I'm going to retire from the Army. I'm going to join the agency.
Hit the
Case
ground
officer, here
running.
we go. Hit the ground running. And then I got to the HR department. I go, well, here's the grade they said I would start with. And the lady goes, no. No, not that. No. And I go, okay. And I go, well, I'm going to be an operations officer. And she goes, no, you weren't recruited for that. You're not qualified for that. But I did this and this and this. And you go,
Too bad.
Doesn't count. So I started out, and my career path was an operations support officer. It was called a SU. And if you go on the CIA recruiting thing, I think that's one of the career paths you can take, which is a desk person that handles the cable traffic and responds to people from overseas writing back to headquarters for guidance and approvals and all those kind of things.
Your favorite kind of job.
My favorite,
Yeah.
Exactly. To be honest, I thought I have screwed up, and so I started that work, and I told my boss right off the bat. I said, "Hey, I heard there's a course you can go to once you're a SU." I was told that I could apply to get in this training to get to the farm. She goes, do you know that that's only for people that have been in this career field, that have been in the agency like 10 years already and are very experienced, and there's a long waiting list for people on that. And I was like, I'm in my late 40s or in my 40s, so that's
That's not gonna
that
work.
ain't gonna work. And then
Gary's reaching in his holster like, let me see.
yeah. So and I got to be honest, I thought I was gonna die during this job, sitting in front of a computer all day,
Yeah.
and one, I'd never learned to type, so I'm like,
Oh no.
like this, and all these young kids around me like that, and chatting and talking, and I didn't, and it wasn't till I had those 2 years I was on the agency, I even knew that you could type without looking at your fingers. I thought I was going to play a joke on a girl one time in the office. So she was gone, and I went and I moved the keys on her laptop or on her computer. I moved the keys around. If you did that to me, I'd be really screwed up, right? And I remember going back to my desk, and I'm thinking, I'm pretty damn funny. And then I remember that woman sitting down and typing, and turning, talking, and typing, and there's no cursing, nothing happened. And then it dawned on me: if you don't need to look where your fingers go,
You know
it
where
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So the joke was really on me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I wasn't sure if I was going to stay in the agency without getting through the farm training. And then my boss happened to talk to her boss, who happened to be one of those people that during wars I had helped out or taken care of or saved, at some point. And he said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna put him, at the top of the list to get the training." So after 6 months, I got able to go through the training.
So you're in your 40s. You've seen war for years and years and years. You've been in some of the craziest combat zones in modern history.
I had, it was a mix. I went to this course that was actually held in Northern Virginia, not where the farm is. And it's for experienced people. Now, to be honest, that woman had been right. I was not experienced enough because the admin part of what you have to do was a stretch for me. But I go to the course, and a lot of it were agency retirees that are teaching the course, some regular staff officers and other people. It was there. It was funny because I had the experience, and they think everybody's new and a headquarters person. And um, it's like two students in a room, and you have a mentor for those two students. And then there are some general classes you do together, but you go through all that training of learning how to do surveillance detection routes and all these things. And um, there was a woman instructor, and the guy that ran my room and was teaching my roommate and I surveillance detection had left some dubious instructions with us for over the weekend. And it didn't sound like what I heard the other students saying they were supposed to do. So I walked into somebody else's room where I think it was two women, and their female instructor was in there. And I asked one of them, "Hey, we're told this. What are you guys supposed to do?" And then that instructor said, "Excuse me, you don't know this?" And I said, "Well, we were told we need to do this, and here's what I'm going to do." Because she said, "You don't know what surveillance detection is until you've been in Baghdad driving 100 miles an hour down Route Irish to try to avoid the bombs. You have no idea."
Oh my God.
And I wanted to kill myself because I looked at her and I'm like, oh, I've learned that I knew I had to keep my thoughts to myself. But I was like, I knew you. I was in Iraq way before you, way more than you, riding around in rusted out Toyotas that weren't even armored. And I saw you.
Yeah, you
I
should
know.
have hit her. You should have hit her with this. Do you know who I am?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm a new guy, and now
Still.
I'm a low guy on the totem pole in the agency, but it was hard, and there were a lot of cases like that, and yeah, I mean, literally, I had times where I thought keeping my mouth shut was such a stress that I literally sometimes would bang my head against the lockers in our room because I was just like, I don't know if I can take these people that much longer. And but eventually I made it through that training. And
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.